In order to transform objects in the directions that you want, you have to use axis constraints. To demonstrate this, let's open the Axis Constraints toolbar. And before we get started transforming the chair, let's lock the selection by pressing the spacebar. When the selection lock is on, you can drag anywhere in the viewport to transform the selection. For example, I'll click the X-axis constraint to restrict the motion of the chair to one dimension. Now I can drag it and it will move along the direction of that red arrow. Similarly, I can move it in the Y dimension or the Z. You can constrain the motion to a plane by clicking this button. Now I can drag the chair along the plane of the rug. The function keys F5 through F8 correspond to the axis constraints. F5, 6, and 7 correspond to X, Y, and Z, and F8 cycles through the planes. There's XY, YZ, and ZX. If I press F8 again, it will cycle back to the XY plane. A more intuitive way to work with axis constraints is to drag the transform gizmo itself. If I put my mouse over this axis and drag, notice that it automatically switches up here to X mode. Note that this functions even if the transform gizmo is off. I'll type X to toggle the gizmo off and then drag in the viewport, and my motion is restricted to that dimension. I'll type X to toggle the gizmo back on, and then I'll try dragging along another axis handle. There are also plane handles here, and if you are careful with your mouse you can get each one to light up, and then you can move your object in 2 dimensions at once. So once you master the transform gizmo, you don't really need the axis constraints toolbar. We can close that and even turn off selection lock. But now we have to be careful that when we drag the object, we're grabbing the transform gizmo and not accidentally dragging another object like this, because it's very easy to select another object and to transform it inadvertently while selection lock mode is off. Another tip I have for you is this. I'll select an object, and let's say I start transforming it, and then I realize, oh no, that's the wrong dimension. I meant to go along the Y-axis. Well, while I'm dragging, I can right-click, and the object will be reset to its initial position. This is much the way spinners work, in how you can preview a value. Now I can transform and see what happens, and if I'm not satisfied with it, before I'm done letting go of the left mouse button, I'll right-click and then let go of the left mouse button, and the object will be reset to its original position.